Hey, what's going on, guys? Room Gaming here, back with another video. In today's episode, I want to quickly go over what masterworking is for beginner players or people returning to the game who just may not be familiar or up to speed with how the system works. So if you look at my inventory screen here, you can see I have some gloves, and you can see these little dots at the bottom of it. That means it has been masterworked 4 times. Now, if you look directly above that, you'll see a 1, and that means this item has reached the first milestone in the masterworking phase, and that occurs after every 4 ranks. So you can see this item down here at the bottom has a 2. That means it has reached the second milestone, and this item is further along its masterworking track than this item here. Even though that this item has more yellow dots, it's still only on the first milestone. So each time you masterwork a piece of gear, it increases that item's stats by 5%, right? So if I come in here to the blacksmith, let's go to the masterworking tab, we'll drop this ring in there. You can see all affixes increased by 5%. Now, once this item gets through a milestone, so we're on milestone 1, once we go to milestone 2, going from rank 4 to 5, instead of increasing all affixes by 5%, it will increase one affix by 25%. That affix is a random affix, and you do not get to choose that. So this means that milestones are very, very important, and that's one of the things you want to focus on is getting all your items to milestone 1, then all your items to milestone 2, and kind of work through that, unless you have a very OP item that's very build specific. So in my case, the Rod of Kapleke is very strong, so I want to masterwork this first, probably before everything else, because this is where a lot of my build synergy comes from. So you can masterwork pretty much everything. However, in terms of legendaries, you can only masterwork them if they have 2 tempers on them. So you can see this item has 2 tempers on it, so I can go in here and drop it in, and it will let me upgrade it. Now, at the same time, you can see all these items in my bag are kind of grayed out. I have some pants here, and it won't let me drop them in because I do not have 2 tempers on that item. Another thing you'll notice is that this has 8 steps of masterwork, and this item has 12 steps of masterworking. So the reason that this one has 8 is because it is not an ancestral. Ancestral will get 12 steps of masterwork, and just normal legendaries or even normal uniques only get 8. So once you go through all 12 steps, you will get overall 40% increase to all affixes on the item, and you will get 3 random 25% increases to a random affix on that said item. Now, if for whatever reason on that random affix, you do not get the 25% bonus to affix that you want, you can come in here and you can reset your masterwork ranks and kind of fish for that specific affix. Just note that it does cost quite a bit. It costs 5 million gold, and this will use some mats. Now, another little tip is as you come in here and masterwork items, you can see this item here specifically. If you look at the 132% critical strike damage, that color is blue. And blue indicates that the milestone roll went to critical strike damage. Now, if the milestone roll on the second milestone goes to critical strike damage again, it will turn it yellow. And if it does it on the final milestone into critical strike damage, that 132% will turn red. Now, for example, let's say on the second milestone roll, it goes to maximum resource instead of critical strike damage, then maximum resource will actually turn blue, and you will have 2 blues and nothing will turn yellow. So the blue, yellow, red system helps you indicate if you've had multiple milestones all get funneled into the same affix. Then if we look at the bottom here at material cost, you can see that there's a gold fee associated, and there's all these different items here, and most of this comes from just salvaging mats. So you can see here, collected from salvaging armor, collected from salvaging rare, legendary, uniques. Cooling words are also collected from salvaging. So you want to be salvaging your gear as much as you can. And the 2 you're probably going to be focused on more than anything are Forgotten Souls, and really Abducites are going to be the main thing that's difficult to get. Even Forgotten Souls aren't too bad. So the Forgotten Souls will be coming from the Tortured Gift chests and Helltides. You can get them from Infernal Hordes, Undercity, or the Dark Citadel. So this isn't really going to be something you have to target farm too much. As long as you do the content you're supposed to be doing, you're going to get so many of these you don't know what to do with. So the The main thing you got to focus on is these abducites here. So these can come from Undercity, but I believe they only come from Undercity if you have a very specific tribute. So I don't think Undercity is a great place to farm these unless you have that specific tribute. So I believe that is the tribute of refinement. So if you have the tribute of refinement, that is really the best way to farm these. But if you don't, your next best place to farm these is probably going to be Infernal Hordes and Nightmare Dungeons. So I'd say Infernal Hordes is probably going to be the main way that you farm this out. So especially if you have a compass, just go ahead and do an Infernal Horde to farm these out. If you don't, then you can also do Nightmare Dungeons as well. Of course, assuming that you have that specific sigil or key. Now, another reason you want to salvage your masterwork here, or pretty much all of your gear for that reason that you're not using, is because, especially with masterwork gear, you will get refunded 100% of whatever you put into that masterwork piece of gear back, including the abducite. So if I pump, let's say, for example, 300 abducite into the staff here, and I go back and I salvage it, I will get all of those materials that I put into it back. All right, guys. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. See you on the next one.